Welcome to Misfit Movement, the podcast for people who don't fit the gym mold, but still want to live strong. No judgment, no perfect setups, just real people making real moves towards a healthier life. I'm so excited to kick off things today with someone I actually know personally, a former coworker who's been quietly fighting one of the most common chronic illnesses in the world, type 2 diabetes. And she's doing more than just managing it. She's reversing it through radical intentional changes in the way that she eats, results that honestly surprise even her doctors. So this is episode 1. This is my very first guest, and honestly, I couldn't think of a better story to start with. This one might just change the way you think about your health and the power you have over it. So let's get into it. So Linda, how are you feeling today?
Great, thank you. And you?
Good. I'm really excited to have you share your story today. And it all began last summer. So we're going to back things up a little bit about what things were like before last summer. So how would you describe your lifestyle and your eating habits before last summer?
April, I had horrible eating habits. Skipped meals. You know, we worked together. So often I would skip lunch and run and get a Snickers bar, and then I would go home and I would be tired and I would grab pizza or chicken wings. I always skipped breakfast. So my eating was horrible. Even though I did exercise, I would walk to work in the morning, and I smoked. So I was sort of not very healthy at all, I must say.
So if you're comfortable sharing, what were your beliefs or how were your feelings about the food that you were eating and the lifestyle that you had? Now, obviously, you're doing really good with your movement. You're a big walker and you're very trim. So nobody would really know that your eating habits, any other health issues or concerns you might have had. It wasn't obvious from looking at you.
Right. So here was the thing for me. I felt okay. And I guess in a way I was I was really ignorant about actually my nutrition. I wasn't sick. I could walk. I didn't have the illnesses like a lot of my friends complain about. I'm 66. So a lot of my friends will complain about aches and pains, and I didn't. So I didn't really at all pay attention to my health.
Until one day.
Exactly.
So why don't you walk us through the moment, that one day when everything changed? What exactly happened?
Okay, so here's what happened. So as I said, I'm 66, and you know the females at 66, we get bladder leakage, and everything sort of gets a little weaker, right? So I was talking to my girlfriend about this issue, and she told me that she was on a pill that stopped her from always feeling like she had to go to the bathroom. So she gave me the name of the pill, which I can't even remember, and I had her text it to me, and I called my doctor, told my doctor that I was having the same problem as she was, and that I wanted a prescription for this pill. And usually my doctor always gave me what I asked for. I don't ever ask for pills because I never really needed them, but like I wanted Wellbutrin to quit smoking, not because I was depressed, but really to quit smoking, and he gave it to me. And so that was kind of ibuprofen when my knees hurt because I walk so much, that kind of thing. So when I asked for this pill, he didn't give it to me and told me I needed to come in for a physical first or get some blood tests. So he had me get some blood tests. I got some blood tests, and then I didn't hear anything from the doctor. I heard from the nurse at one point telling me that my vitamin D was out of whack, my vitamin D was low, so I needed to take a vitamin D supplement. And that was no news to me because it's happened, right? Well, then I called for that pill again, and that PA got on the telephone looking at those numbers. And now this might be 2 months later. I did the pill thing and the blood test in June. So now we're into July. I call back, the PA talks to me, and she tells me, you're a diabetic. Well, I about went off. You know, I was like, what do you mean I'm a diabetic? And she said, well, didn't you see these numbers? And I was like, no, I saw the numbers, but I don't know what any of those numbers mean. And the nurse only called me about the vitamin D. And she said, well, you're a diabetic. And she made me a prescription for that little thing where you prick your fingers.
Okay.
And the only
to
other
test your levels.
Yeah, to check my blood, right? And the only other information she gave me was like, stay away from bread and sugar, basically. Just watch your carbs, basically.
And this is all over the phone?
Yeah, all over the phone. Well, I checked my numbers, and I didn't even know what to check for. Okay, you can't check for your A1C, but you can check for the sugar level. And I checked it, and my sugar was like 12.8. Now, I didn't understand what that was. I just knew it was high, because to become a type 2, it's like 6 something, where you are definitely a diabetic, right? So from 6 to 12,
that's your A1C level. Yeah, 6.5%.
Right.
Anything over that is diabetic.
Right. So I knew that the 11.8 had to be high. So I was with a friend at the time. It was 90 degrees in Pittsburgh last July. So I was with a friend, and I told him that number, and he said, oh my God, that's high. And I was like, well, what does it mean? He was like, I don't know for sure, but it was high. So I did the Google search. What should I do if my blood level is 11.8? And he said, and it said, Google said, get to a hospital or a doctor immediately. And that's how it all started spiraling. I ended up in an emergency room at the local hospital. And then I called my doctor. The doctor never answered the telephone. I got the PA. I'm very passionate. And so I kind of got into a fight I thought I was dying. Basically, I thought I was dying and I wasn't getting any information. So I freaked out and I changed doctors immediately. We have a colleague at work whose sister's an MD and a general practitioner. And because I wanted somebody soon, I went to her. She freaked out about my numbers. She put me on, I'm so horrible with drug names.
Insulin?
Metformin. Okay.
Metformin, okay.
Yeah, Metformin. And she wanted me to go on Ozempic. Now, I didn't want Ozempic. I weigh about 125 at the time, and I saw people lose 50 pounds in a week on that stuff. In our office, we had women running around on it. So I would not take that. So I started with just the Metformin, and then she gave me Jardiance. I didn't know anything about Jardiance. It does not cause weight loss. It's not one of those G1P or GP1 pills to lose weight. So I went on that, and she had done more blood tests, and she was shocked by that number. She wanted me to see, again, I can't say the specialty, an endocrinologist.
Endocrinologist?
Thank you. Yes. And I called another friend. So a lot of my health things come from employees that we work with, right? Because we spend so much time at work. So Rita, you remember Rita from the office. Her husband goes through all this stuff, and he is a diabetic, but he's type 1. So
he's had his whole life.
So, yeah, so she knows everything. And Rita always looked at my results, and she would tell me, like, my cholesterol's high. See, so I was heading down the wrong path with that diet I was eating without ever knowing that I was a time bomb, probably. So I saw a specialist, and then I talked to you. And you started telling me, because I didn't know what to eat. I mean, I had no idea what to eat. I was looking at books, and Rita was telling me things. Everybody was saying, stay away from the sugar. Well, it's really not staying away from the sugar. It's really, you need vegetables. The one thing that a lot of people get confused with diabetes too is most of the time people are overweight, right? And that's the first thing everybody says to you is lose weight. Well, I don't need to lose weight. So I didn't know what to be eating. I'm going to go from Snickers bar to like real food. And I don't know if you remember, I make fun of vegetarians and vegans. And like, I can't eat that kind of food is what I would always tell people, right? I'm not eating that food. It's rabbit food and bird food and blah, 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 blah. Well, I had to. You introduced me to a book, Dr. Fuhrman, Eat to Live, or I can't remember, and I gave it back to you.
Yeah,
really thick with a lot of information, right? It's a really thick, scientific, not very hard, not very easy to understand. And that is why I think I was so against becoming a vegetarian or trying to eat like that, because I don't think, or until recently, I didn't think those people were healthy, right? No, not enough protein as far as I'm concerned. So I just start with that book that you gave me. I looked at the lists of what I should eat. I listened to a couple of his YouTube channels.
He does have some,
Yeah, he has some YouTube, which was so much better for me because I'm hearing somebody talk and I could follow through. And he swore that if I ate this way, I could reverse it. And that far too many Americans are on these drugs and they're on them forever, and diabetes 2 can turn into diabetes 1, and once you get on the injections, it's a downward spiral instead of an upward. So I thought, okay, Linda, you're going to die and you don't want to. You're getting ready to retire. You're moving to Panama. You have dreams and you worked all your life and it's time to have fun. And now you have diabetes and you could die. So I jumped in full force.
Okay, so the motivation to really make the change was staring death in the face. I was really scared.
I was really scared. And what was interesting is a lot of people told me I was 1 in a million, and why was I so scared? Everybody has diabetes. Even Sarah said, she looked at me and said, no big deal, everybody has diabetes. Well, that's not how I was feeling. I was now feeling dizzy and my eyes were going batty, and I heard about diabetic blindness and all this other stuff. So I just started eating seeds, nuts, vegetables, and I put most of it in a smoothie. I stopped skipping the breakfast and having smoothies. So lots of fruit with lots of vegetables. The fruit with
you put greens in there with it.
Yeah. Oh, so many greens. And I used an Opeak cup, like a 24-ounce Opeak cup with a straw, so that I didn't see how ugly it was, because it was brown or it was really green. Like it was not appetizing, but it actually tasted pretty good. But there were so many different kinds of nuts and greens in it. It was ugly. So that's where I was.
And I do remember when I shared with you, I remember telling you, because this is why I wanted to interview you so much, is because I've told other people about this plan, which is very simple. I mean, it can be as simple as
very simple.
Yeah. And I remember telling you, but you probably won't do it. And I remember telling you that most people say they do it and they cheat all the time. And of course, they don't see the results, which is why they think it doesn't work. But that's because they're eating healthier than they were before, but they're cheating all the time. And really the plan that's set out here is there's no allowance for cheating, because if you have these serious health issues, it really takes serious commitment to change, which you did, which was really amazing. Yeah, so I really didn't expect you to follow it.
Well, I will tell you this. First of all, people like me complain that eating clean or eating vegetables and eating right, is too expensive. It's much more expensive to buy fresh, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really not. It's really not when you make your mind up to do it. The other thing that was helpful to me is this happened in the summer. I have to say, I don't know if I would have made it through in the winter. Vegetables to me in the winter, I don't eat them normally anyhow, but I would go to the farmer's market and have a blast. Talking to people, I told people I had diabetes and I needed to eat vegetables. What should I eat? What's fresh now? What's growing now? And the vendors or the hucksters, whatever we want to call them at the market, would give me ideas. And they would say, okay, try this. And, I don't know all the names of the lettuces and the greens that I ate. I had mustard and kale and lettuce and all kinds of stuff. Stir it up, spinach especially. Stir it up, saute it with some garlic, put some beans in there. So I started making these kind of fun things, but it was because it was the summer and I could go to the market and talk to people. Can't imagine doing that in all these are giant able. So I think that helped me. Plus I was scared and I had to beat it. So
what was the hardest thing at that point for you to give up or change? Was there a hard point at that point?
Yeah, yes. I was told I had to stay away from lemonade because it was full of sugar, and I couldn't eat ice cream every day. Well, it's 90 degrees. I'm eating ice cream. I had to stop that. That was really hard.
And you did at that point. You did stop it at that point.
I did. I really thought I was going to die. And then, I had these images, and Rita used to laugh at me. I thought my legs were going to get cut off because, once you're a diabetic, they take your toes first, and then before you know, before you know it, your knees are gone, and then, so I maybe I overreacted. But I was seeing myself like that, and I was like, oh no, I can't be this. This can't happen to me. I have too many things I have to do. So I jumped
So you went
into
all
it,
in.
Really.
Okay, so you went all in.
I went all in. Yes, I went all in.
How long did it take before you started seeing shifts, like feeling mentally? And then when did you see the numbers change? Okay.
So this all happened toward like the middle of July. By the middle of August, I think I was feeling it all. Every time I drank my smoothie in the morning, I felt like I was clean inside. Like it really did feel different, right? But by the middle of August, it dawned on me that I wasn't so tired. I wasn't sluggish. I had more energy at the end of the day, even in that 90-degree weather. I could continue. I was walking. I felt lighter. I didn't look lighter, but I felt lighter. I felt like there was a bunch of, I don't know. When I went to the restroom, I just felt like I was cleansing myself instead of just sluggish all the time or bloated. That's a good word. I felt bloated a lot. So then it took about a month. Away.
Wow, it went away.
I want to say a month. Yeah, it went away, and that's when I really I think I just need to keep doing this. I wonder, well, if I feel like this in 4 weeks, how am I going to feel in 8 weeks? I'm always challenging myself, right? But if you remember, I was always complaining, calling you, I don't know what to eat. Now I'm getting bored of I ate a lot of salads with grilled chicken. I stayed away from red meat, but I didn't have to, because red meat's not the issue. The red meat is an issue with the cholesterol, but not diabetes. So, but I noticed that I wasn't eating hamburgers, and I was in no mood for the greasy ribs, which I love, right? But I noticed that I wasn't craving those. So I decided, okay, I'm going to see where this takes me. And I would complain about eating seeds, and then I would Rita gave me some recipes, gave me some ideas of what I could make. She pushes the salmon. I'm not a big fish eater, but I tried it. And I ate tuna, and, I ate a lot of beans and brown rice. So it became easier. And then it became fun to find new recipes. So in that first month, I went online and I went to the Diabetes Association. And they have cooking classes online that you can sign up for, and you can see the past ones. It was free. I never paid anything. And it was a fun site. It wasn't all scientific. It was stories about people who reversed their diabetes.
I'll have to link that.
Yeah.
I'll make a link of that in the notes.
That was really good. So, and then I saw my
endocrinologist.
Yes, thank you. I saw her in August. So after a
at
month,
the end, in the middle, or the end of August?
In the middle, when I started feeling this way, because I remember telling her, "Hey, I started doing this." She took my A1C again.
Okay.
And I was 10. I was down to like 10. She said, "This is still really high. Why are you not on Ozempic?" And I said, I spoke to my other doctor about this, and I'm not taking Ozempic. I don't want to lose weight. And they didn't argue with that. When I said it like that, like I can't lose 10 pounds. So she said, "Well, then good. I was on the Jardiance." So she wanted me, actually, she knew I was eating well. Jardiance is a really expensive medicine. It's like $400 a month. Might be $600 a month. So it's really expensive for a lot of people, but we had health insurance and it wasn't expensive. It was $50 with our insurance. But she was afraid I would stop taking it. She could sense that I was not a big medical person. So she insisted that I got 3 months supply of it. And then I never did, because it just came to CVS every month. She said she didn't want me to be in the winter, because now it's August, right? We're heading into fall. She said that she didn't want it to be in the winter, and I had to run out to the pharmacy in the middle of a snowstorm to get my prescription. She was right, but...
So your numbers came down a little bit at that doctor visit, which was only a month in.
Yeah, it was a month in. So
then what was the next step?
The next step, after talking to her, I kept it up, but I was getting more into it.
Oh, okay.
I was getting more. I was getting happier eating different kinds of salads and stuff. It wasn't just the beans and rice. I stopped taking pumpkin seeds. Like, the pumpkin seeds, and those seeds are really good for you, but I didn't eat them every day. I would find other things, like cucumbers are really good for you, and tomatoes are good for you. So I would make salads like that, leave the lettuce out, and just put a bunch of that in chicken. I would get bean salad and add chicken to it. I was conscious about the protein, because I don't know how you know if you have enough protein. So I just started eating more things, like some salmon patties, and some, like, I would get salmon flakes and then make hamburgers out of it and make a sandwich with, you can find really good bread now with only like 2 carbs. And I don't know, it's keto, the KETO, they have a lot of like low carb food. So I would just look for that kind of stuff. And then, keto. And then you introduced me to the palm pasta.
Oh yeah, hearts of palm pasta. It comes in a bag. Rinse
it comes
and eat.
in a little package. And wasn't it weird, right? I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if I can eat this. This is not going to taste like pasta. But it does. It was really good, because it absorbs the flavor of your pasta.
Yeah, you got to rinse it real well. But yeah.
You have to rinse it really well. You told me that. And then it takes on the taste of your pasta. So whatever kind, it tasted a little different every time you make a different pasta. So I liked it, and today I still eat it, because I like it. It's hard to find now in my Giant Eagles. They stopped selling it, but I like it. So I started eating things like that, which opened a new horizon of putting eggplant in it, and I went from white potatoes to sweet potatoes. All that simple changes. Lots of things like that. Lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, made into salads to make it look like a meal. Brown rice instead of white rice. Those were all easy changes. It was coming home and cooking for myself. I don't have a husband. It's hard to cook for just you. Pre this, I was eating pizza or a bowl of cereal. And,
fast food,
Yeah. And I never realized that bad diet until I realized how little I ate, now that I'm eating like real food. So,
so when was the next doctor visit? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Next doctor's appointment, September, early October, like end of September. I think I made the appointment and I went October 3rd or something like that, 4th or whatever. I can't remember. and it went from that 10 down to 5.7.
Which is, normal range is 5.7 and lower.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you were in the normal range.
I was in my normal range, and the doctor screamed. She could not believe it. He came into, because, she took my blood, and they test the blood right there. They can give you the A1C. So she came back and she said, "How is this possible?"
So your doctor really didn't believe that this was possible?
No, she didn't believe it. And she told me straight out, "I wouldn't have believed you if I didn't see you with that high A1C. I would have told you it was impossible. What are you doing?" And I told her. And I told her the doctor's name, Dr. Fuhrman or whatever. Who was the author of that book, please?
Dr. Fuhrman, yep.
Yes. Okay, so I got it. So I told her about the Dr. Fuhrman videos and the book.
The Eat to Live program.
Yeah. And I actually think I saw the book there at her office. I think she's using that now in her practice. But I think I'm one of those stories that they talk about behind my back. But anyhow, so she was really excited for me, and she then changed my medication. So my metformin when I started, metformin, thank you, was 1,000 milligram in the morning and 1,000 at night, and she brought me down to 500 on that, and she kept me
for the day, or 500 in the morning and 500 at night.
500 in the morning, 500 at night.
Oh, okay, that's a big change, though.
Okay. Yeah, big change.
Dropped it in half.
She was going to take me all the way off, and she said, "Let's wait. Let's wait and see how you do. We'll take you off later." She didn't want me to go quickly without it, right? So I see my diabetes doctor in 3 weeks, and we're going to look and see if I can just get off of it now, because the numbers have stayed down. I just had another doctor's appointment with her, and I'm down to, it went up a little bit. I think I'm 5.7. So I'm doing really well with it. I want to wipe it out, and I want to get it down further.
Yeah, you have some huge goals ahead of you. You're going to be moving to Panama, I think, in the fall. Is that correct?
Yes.
You plan on walking the Camino Way. Which, right?
It's 500 miles across Spain. Anybody?
Okay, so I know it's a little bit flexible of what you could do. 500 miles, which will take you about how long?
About 30. They say 33, but I'm a traveler, and I want to stop in some of the towns you walk through, and I'm not going to just walk through it. I'm retired. I can take 2 months. So,
and it's walking every day.
It's not a waste for me. Yeah, I walk every day.
So you need to be in good health to be able to accomplish that goal.
Yes. Hey, for your listeners, I want them to know I did fall off the wagon. So after the October, I was thinking about this. After the October meeting with the doctor and it went down, I got cocky. I'm going to be quite honest. I got cocky, and I was like, well, hell, now I can go and have my hamburgers and my wings, and I'm going to drink some beers, and I'm going to have, Christmas is coming. I'm going to celebrate. I really did this. Well, like I said, it took about 4 weeks before I felt good. When I started the good stuff, it was about a week. It was about a week after I wasn't eating like that. Yep, 1 week, and I could feel the sluggishness. My bowel movements were not good. I was really, really tired. I lost all the energy, and with that energy, I lost some motivation. So I knew immediately that I can't be playing around with that. My health, I need to eat that better food. So probably, even though I felt like that, I think I might have gone another week or two, because I wanted that food. And what ended up happening is I really didn't want it. So I would say, I can go have a hamburger. I didn't want the hamburger. So
so it's like your brain was telling you you've been missing it. So your brain was saying you wanted it, but when you actually had it, you didn't really want it. Like you felt the difference.
Yes. Right. I could tell the difference. So my suggestion to anyone is if you feel like you want to go off of it, go off, but keep your mind open, test your body.
Be really in tune with your body.
Right. And I don't like to, I tell you all the time, I'm a Catholic, but I don't like to evangelize. Well, I've gotten healthy. I want people to know, but I don't want to evangelize. I don't want to be a pain in the ass and tell people, oh, you really shouldn't eat that, or you should eat this instead of that. I really don't know enough to tell people stuff, right? I can point them to that book. I have my Good Diabetes books that I use that have meal plans in them. So I pick out, and they were really easy meal plans. No gourmet stuff for me, no long-term cooking, the regular cook kind of thing, right? And, I've tried to change some people, but they're as hard-headed as I was. So I just asked them to please check their A1C when they go to the doctors and have them check it, because I didn't know what was happening to me, and I could have died. I mean, I could have died if I had not paid attention. And, so I tell my girlfriend who had to ask me for the pill, she basically saved my life. I might not have gone to the doctors if I didn't want that pill. And the thing about it was that pill wasn't going to help me anyhow, because one of the things with diabetes is you have to go to the bathroom a lot. You're thirsty, you're hungry, and you go to the bathroom a lot. And that was all I was going through.
Yeah. So, well, and I think you found out that it's making the whole foods interesting enough and enough variety for your personal taste. That's the real challenge.
Right.
But to say to eat whole foods, I mean, everybody kind of knows like a vegetable is probably going to be healthier than the hamburger, but the motivation to go there all in is really different for every person. But for you, it seemed pretty obvious that if you feel like you're staring death in the face, that was enough motivation for you to change.
Yeah, well, one of the things I told my friends, if you look at the internet, TikTok always has a 28-day challenge. 28-day challenge to learn Spanish, 28-day challenge to do the Kung Fu. There's always a 28-day challenge. Lose weight in 28 days, exercise in 28 days. Well, do that with food. Do a 28-day challenge. I bet you won't turn your back on that kind of food. You might not go all in and become a vegetarian. I did not. But you might. I'm healthier now than I've ever been, but I eat a little bit of meat. I don't crave hamburgers like I used to. When I eat pizza, I make my own pizzas at home now. I don't go out and get the frozen pizzas. I get, they have all kinds of pita breads now that are low carbs. And and
whole wheat, you can get very much.
Yeah, whole wheat. Yeah, I can't even eat white bread now. That white bread, I used to like it because it was kind of mushy, right? Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Now I want whole wheat. I want it baked. I don't want the plastic bag thing. And it's not that much more expensive, because if you look at a bag of plastic bread in the store, it's $3.49. A fresh loaf in a bakery is $4.50 maybe. And you can get it sliced fresh, and you can put it in your freezer and pull it out for toast. So I made all those kind of changes, and I'm sticking with it now. So I'm watching my friends. And I told them to do it now because the fresh vegetables are coming out. When I see all those pretty colors at the market, it's fun to get out and walk around to the market. And, there's the city of Pittsburgh has lots of farmers markets in different neighborhoods. So they say they're going to do it. I'm going to watch them.
Well, that's great encouragement for them, which is why I wanted you to also be a guest on this, is to encourage others that it can be fun. You can make a game of it, but more importantly, you're doing something really positive for your health. And I do want to ask you, because I think at one point they had wanted to put you on insulin. Is that correct?
Well, yes. And fortunately, our health insurance wouldn't pay for it, because my numbers weren't that bad after the 3 months.
Okay. Oh, after the 3 months. Okay, good. So they were going that route, and you were able to.
Well, they wouldn't pay for it because I was still diabetes too. They wouldn't approve the little thing that they stick in your arm. What is it called? I talk about it all the time, and now it's off my. The injection. They want to play that.
Okay.
Not serum. What is it?
Oh, insulin.
Insulin, yes. They weren't going to pay for that insulin for me.
Okay.
So that saved me. And I'm glad, because once people get on that, you can mess around with that and you can just.
And I was going to ask you, do you think you would still have pursued your dreams of like moving to Panama and wanting to do the communal way if, you hadn't gotten this under control?
I don't think I would have been able to. I think I would have wanted to, but I don't think I would have been able to do it. Mm-hmm. I really do think I was slowly dying. And that's why I tell people we need to take care of our health, because we don't know what we don't see. And I was not, I would just, when I felt a little sluggish, I would say, I got to get to bed a little earlier. I'd make excuses for it. It's too hot. I blamed a lot of those early days on the heat. It didn't get colder when I started eating better and started feeling better. It was still 90 degrees in Pittsburgh in August, if you remember.
Yes, it was. August was a pretty rough month.
And I wasn't sluggy. Right. And I wasn't sluggish like I was, and I was making excuses for the way I was feeling by the heat. And I didn't know it was the diabetes. So people need to pay attention. The dehydration from all drinking and then going to the bathroom and drinking more water and going to the bathroom, that was wreaking havoc on me. So it was, But like the other thing that I want to tell, people is when they told me I couldn't have lemonade, it was only sugar, right? I couldn't do that. I needed my lemonade. The lemonade is for the summer, right? And then I just decided, well, wait a minute, people drink lemon and water. So I started using lemons in water and putting date sugar in it or something like that, and made real lemonade with ice. So there were things that I would just do like that. Like for a diabetic, you should only eat a quarter cup of ice cream. Well, that's not worth it to me. And it's still not. So I told the dietitian, I was like, who can eat just a quarter cup of ice cream?
I think you're right about that.
Who can do that? And she said to me, she looked at me and she smiled and she said, then just put some protein in it, put some nuts in or some seeds. And I guess it's the fiber. I don't know what it is, but
and the protein, it'll slow down the absorption of the sugar, so it doesn't spike your insulin. Yes,
exactly. So when that happened, I thought, okay, you can't play around with this too much. So I started eating Greek non-fat yogurt and putting like vanilla extract, like pure vanilla in it. And that you told me about the chocolate.
The dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate in it. Yeah, the dark chocolate in it. No, dark chocolate in it was like a little sundae, and it's really good. I don't even eat ice cream that much anymore. I eat this really good fat-free yogurt.
So you found some satisfying alternatives to some of these foods or drinks that were like Achilles heel for you.
Right. Like my smoothies in the morning when Rita told me about chia seeds, right? Well, they swell up, so it's almost like a jello. If you don't
it's like
pay
a pudding.
Attention to how much you put in it, right? Or you make that pudding. I blew the recipe on the pudding. I got better at it, but that stuff gels up, and it's really fun to eat. So it's kind of fun now, especially with fresh fruit.
Yeah, and I saw you. I'll post the picture on the Forbidden Foods Diabetic Cooking. The picture with the chocolate cupcake right on the first page there.
Right, and that's the one that comes from the
American Diabetes Association. Yep.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, if they are putting this on here, there got to be some good recipes in there, and there are. And they're easy to make. They're not asking for any gourmet ingredients that you have to go all over town to look for, right? Everything's in Giant Eagles or all these.
Oh, okay. So that's a good tip about the cookbook.
Yeah, I mean, they're easy to get. Most of those things, other than maybe the healthy things like spinach, we all have in our kitchen. You're going to go out for a few things, not everything.
Yeah. So Linda, this past year was kind of an interesting year for you because when this all happened, you were still working full time, but then you transitioned into retirement in January. So now you are retired and you have some big goals that are going forward. So even though you've had this big life change, you have been consistent with this type of lifestyle, with this eating lifestyle through both stages of life, working a full-time job and now transitioning into retirement. So you're a really great example for, you cover a pretty broad area of people's lifestyles. And of course, you're not young. So you also have those, like a lot of people think they're too old to change. It's too late to reverse some chronic illness that they might have. So for anyone who's listening right now that might feel overwhelmed or maybe ashamed because they know they're not eating right, or think they could do better, or they are convinced it's too late, what would you tell them?
Laugh at yourself and move on and get better, because that's what I did. I mean, you know, I whined all the time about having to eat that bird seed, and then I started feeling good, and I was going out of my way to get new things to eat like that. Like, okay, there's a lot of things that look weird, like that heart of palm,
hearts of palm
spaghetti
pasta,
right? Looked at that, and I thought you were out of your mind. When I opened that package up, I said, she's got to be crazy. So I made myself laugh a lot. I said, okay, wait a minute, she's living, so let me try this. And then what I was embarrassed about was to say how good it was, because I complained about everything so much, right? And then everything started tasting good, and I would just say, man, I'm glad I did this. So I just want everybody to know, I went from a 12.8, look it up on diabetes. I'm not sure what it all means and stuff, but some people will know. I was 12.8. And in 3 months, not with maybe some with the medication, but the food brought me all the way down to pre-diabetic levels in 3 months.
And they decreased your medicine. They decreased what you were taking. So you know that it had to do with, because you've been able to keep those levels low.
Right. And we talked about my second one just recently. I'm down, still down to 5.7. We talked about taking me off the metformin, and then decided I think I'm only going to take 500 now.
Are you on Jardiance still?
Yes, but I need that for my heart.
Oh, okay, for your heart.
Yeah, it's for the heart. So we're going to get down with that, but I bet you when I go to Panama, because the doctors in Panama are really good. There's so many people with diabetes too in Panama that they know how to deal with it without all the medication because of money. So, that's perfect for me. Do you want to die is what I would ask people all the time when they say, oh, Linda, I'm not worrying about it. If I'm going to, a lot of people say, if it's my time, it's my time. Well, I'm not that easy. It's not my time yet. This is now my time. I've spent my whole life working, and now you want me to die? You're going to let yourself die when you're finally free? So,
good for you.
So I think that's what people do. I want to die tomorrow. That's all you have to ask yourself. Is there a possibility I can? And then just make the changes. They're easy changes. I've been able to find really fun food to eat, make my own things up. You start learning, and there's a couple lists in that Dr. Fuhrman's book where it says eat this and this and this, not in which order.
It's one page.
Yeah, and I never knew that some of that food had like a lot of vitamins. Like there's a lot of good food. There's a lot of good things for you in there.
Yeah.
So I told myself I'm only doing this for 3 months, and because I knew I was going to go back to the doctors in 3 months, and if it didn't move, then I was going to give up probably, because then that was in the early days, because I really did get tired of eating lettuce. And then when it showed such a drastic thing, I said, I'm never going to stop eating this. I'll add some of my other junk food. I don't eat Snickers anymore. I dropped Coca-Cola completely. There's things I don't even think about that I love, like gummy bears. Oh, I used to love gummy bears. I don't eat that kind. I don't crave it anymore.
So not only do you not eat it, you don't even crave it. So that makes it a lot easier to stick with it.
Yes.
Well, Linda, I really appreciate you being on this podcast today and being my first guest, because I feel that a lot of people can relate to you. Like, your experience of how you ate before this all happened, I think is kind of an average, kind of the standard way a lot of people eat. Skipping meals, fast food, Snickers, like not very many fruits and vegetables. And if you do, it's probably with a lot of other stuff that's not as healthy for you.
Right. Hey, and also when you start learning about food, a lot of those protein bars that you can eat when you miss your lunch, they're really not that good for you. There's a lot of them that aren't good for you. You need to look at those ingredients on the back and check out some of them.
I kind of have a rule. If you can't pronounce the ingredients for one, if it's like a half a page long too.
Right, exactly.
There's some
there's a lot of
things.
stuff there. Or when they talk about dye, when you're really eating a nut bar, why do you have to have dye in there?
Good point.
It's coloring, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's ugly. I'll just find something opaque to eat it out of, like my smoothies. My smoothies were ugly. I just hid them in a short cup.
I always put blueberries in mine because it doesn't matter what else is in there, it turns purple. So that's my trick.
Yeah,
frozen blueberries.
Right. And I'm a strawberry raspberry eater.
So to leave our audience with one small doable step, what would you encourage someone to take today? One small doable step.
Self-examination of how you're eating and be honest with yourself. Is it healthy? Is it doing any good for you, or is it just cheap and fast?
That's a really great question to ask yourself.
Yeah, ask yourself that, because you have to be honest. I had to be honest that I ate, I sat down, what did I eat for lunch today? A Snickers bar. And I came home and I ate pizza. And then I went to bed. I woke up. I missed dinner. I missed breakfast in the morning, and I went and had a Reese's cup the next day for lunch, and then a hamburger for dinner.
And some ice cream on top of that.
Right, and ice cream, of course, in the middle. But I was appalled, and I didn't pay attention. And maybe sometimes as women, I don't know if men are I think men do the same, but we aren't taught to think about ourselves. We're supposed to take care of everybody else, right? And we're not supposed to worry. Yeah, so when I started thinking about myself, here's another thing, because I was kind of vain. After I started eating really well, my skin changed really nicely. But I felt conceited to tell people to look. I showed them a picture. Maybe 3 months before I started this, a photo was taken of me. And what I looked like six months later, after my after my 2 doctor's appointments. And it was completely different.
So people can notice the difference.
Yeah, they noticed.
You notice the difference.
Right, and they would ask me, what kind of makeup are you using now? You changed your makeup and stuff, and I realized, I started examining my face. I was like, damn, they're right. I do look better. So just think about yourself. Be selfish. Be selfish. Think about what you're eating and how you should change it. And then, can you change it? And do a challenge. Say, I'm going to do a
28-day challenge. I like it. A week's
not going to do anything. Yeah, a week you're not going to see anything. You're just going to be rushing through a week. So you have to say, give myself a month. I guarantee you will feel better.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Linda. I really appreciate you sharing your story. And for everyone listening, there's some great tips in there that Linda shared. And I'm really happy you shared them with me as well. And I think that 28-day challenge, a whole food 28-day challenge, is an excellent idea. And I think I'm going to look out and see if there's anything out there. And I'll try and link if there are some challenges already existing out there. And if not, I'll try and link a list from Joel Fuhrman's Eat to Live program of, that basic 1-page list, very simple, of how you could implement that in your own 28-day challenge. So thank you, Linda, and I hope you have a beautiful evening, and keep me updated on your plans to Panama, please.
I will. Until you come visit me. You can do a podcast from the beach.
I would love that.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Linda, for having me.